And joining us to discuss all of this now is Colonel Miri, a senior fellow at the International Institute for Counterterrorism at Reichman University. Thank you, Miri, for joining.
Thank you so much, Sivan.
So, Miri, we saw yesterday that the Syrian front was reactivated after months of relative quiet. Why do you think that is, and what does it signal? Should we be concerned about this front?
We should be concerned about all of the fronts. We're still in a war. It's still a multi-front war, and it seems to be quiet, but that's quiet above surface. Below surface, things are bubbling. Specifically, the attack yesterday from the Golan Heights into the Israeli Golan Heights was one of the ones, Sivan, that kind of makes me laugh, because two different organizations claimed responsibility. One of them is a Palestinian one. They named it after Mohammed Def. He's the one that Israel killed June of last year, one of the architects of the October 7th attack. The second organization that claimed responsibility was an Iranian-backed Shiite organization, which means that both still exist in Syria. Syria is in a precarious situation. It isn't that right now new president Ahmed Shara, Abu Muhammad al-Julani really controls everything. So we need to take notice of these. I don't think that these are very serious threats, but we need to take every single one as is. And as Minister of Defense Israel Katz said, we in Israel hold this new regime responsible. They want to be the responsible ones. They need to stop these kind of actions.
Now, shifting to Gaza, we are unfortunately seeing more soldiers' lives claimed this week. As the toll rises among IDF soldiers, how would you assess the recent military operation, Gideon's Chariots, thus far? And how do you see this advancing?
So one of the hardest part about any kind of military action is that it's an action in a violent environment against the terrorists, Hamas, and you can't go in and hope in any way that there are only going to be casualties, terrorists on the other side. The Israeli military is working slowly and systematically. Everybody wants us to do things quickly. When you do things quickly, where there are over 2 million civilians inside the Gaza Strip, you may kill more civilians. It won't be any better. You need to do things slowly. And that slow action in the different areas that we've already been in, it hurts, it's hard, it is most definitely impacting Hamas. Hamas is losing more control on the Gaza Strip. But until there's a clear-cut, I would say, governmental view of what it's going to look at after, the IDF, in this sense, attacking Hamas, being very effective against Hamas, is still going to have that problem of, so who rules in the Gaza Strip after? Is it the IDF directly? Is it somebody else? And these questions have not yet been answered.
Now, regarding the reported deaths at the food distribution sites in Gaza, operated by an American company, what's your take on the UN's call for an investigation, and how should Israel respond to mounting international pressure and misinformation by Hamas published on all media?
I would just add it into the where we are right now. All of my cynicism wants to come out now. I look at you, Sivan, and I go, are you kidding me? The United Nations wants to investigate us. The United Nations Relief and Welfare Agency for the Palestinian refugees that has been in existence from 1949. It was a UN decision from 1950. And what have they done in this war? They have enabled and empowered Hamas. They enabled and empowered Hamas in the decades before this war. They allowed inside their education systems, not just in the Palestinian Hamas-led ones inside the Gaza Strip, inside the UN education system, to have horrific anti-Semitic, anti-Israel, anti-Zionist, you say misinformation, lies. And when we talk about the distribution that's been happening, the challenge inside has been the same challenge for this entire war. It is a war. And what Israel is trying to create is a system that Hamas does not control. And Hamas, I say very sadly, is both infiltrated part of the United Nations Relief and Welfare Agency and also controls it from the outside. So no, this is not perfect, but neither was the old one. And I think that Israel has consistently checked itself, seen what's going on, and I hold ourselves to a very high standard here. It doesn't make it any easier, but we are checking ourselves. One of the reasons that the center today was closed is to make sure that we do it. And again, we're the outer system, because at the end, it's a US-based organization that's doing it, and they should continue to do it. We want to get help to the people, and everybody should support that, certainly the United Nations.
Miri, thank you very much for your input.
Thank you, Sivan.